This episode of the Naperville Moms Network is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, Innovative Orthodontic Centers. Personalized, cutting-edge orthodontics for a smile that reflects the real you.
Welcome back to the Naperville Moms Network. We are now discussing age-appropriate responsibilities. It can be difficult to figure out what a child should be doing for themselves and what they still need some help with. How do you guys make these decisions?
Giving children age-appropriate responsibilities teaches life skills, and I think as a parent, it's important that by the time they are a young adult, that we've taught them to be self-sufficient and independent, especially nowadays. Now, having said that, easier said than done.
Okay.
You know, I think everyone's life is so busy, not just the parents, even children. They're overscheduled with schoolwork, extracurricular activities. So having teenagers, for me, I find it's challenging to find the time in their schedule to assign them responsibilities that they can carry on a regular basis. So for me, it's a lot been taking a step back and changing their schedule, maybe not overscheduling that much, and making it a priority. So that's what we're working on in our house.
I'm glad you said that second part, because I thought you were going to say, and everything runs seamlessly in my home and everyone does what they should. I'm here to take advice from you veteran moms, because with two little ones, my 3-year-old is actually much more responsible when it comes to helping around the house. He loves doing laundry, helping his dad outside. My older one, you know, it's this excuse factory and the dramatics. Oh, my leg hurts, or I'm tired, or I forgot. There's a whole lot of I forgots. So in my mind, I have a beautiful chore chart and everything gets accomplished. In reality, it's me losing it and saying, clean up your plate after breakfast. How hard is that? Throw the comforter on the bed. I don't even need hospital corners, just something, right?
Corners.
So I don't think I'm asking much. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say and sort of how you establish that from early on, and then how does that grow? Because I don't want to be doing, you know, every single thing.
I think that's the key. You need to start at a young age to spring on responsibility all at once, and a teenager is not going to go too well.
Right, to go from nothing to, oh, now you're 14, now you have to do all of these things.
Sure.
I think it's really a testament to say, this is what being part of a family is.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a working mom, you're still doing a lion's share of a lot of it. And to teach your kids, even at 3, 4, 5, hey, when you're done with your dish, this is where it goes. When you're done with your clothes, put it in the laundry basket.
Sure.
And then kind of compliment them for, thank you so much for being a part of this family. Thank you so much for helping our family run this household the way we need to, because you're a part of it as much as we're a part of it, and you have part of this in helping keep it clean and running well.
That's exactly what we say. Like, I always say that this is part of being in the family.
Yeah.
Because I always had the kids. It wasn't just the excuses. It was, I'm just going to do it horribly, and then she won't ask me to do it again. So you have to, as a mom, I think you got to get used to.
Absolutely.
It's just going to be the comforter thrown on the bed, or the dishes might not be rinced perfectly to put in the dishwasher, but get used to it not being the way you would have done it, just that they're doing it.
Right.
But that whole idea of this is what we all are doing, and then when they get older, it's always, well, how much am I going to get paid for that? Well, you're paid being part of this family,
Right.
You know,
Right.
we all, this is what we all do as part of.
I'm
I
feeding
really
you.
don't compliment them very well, so I like how I appreciate you. I should have probably done that a little bit more.
I do the positive reinforcement, and that works, especially with my daughter. And I'll actually say, have you noticed how happy Mommy's been this afternoon? What a lovely morning we have. Do you know why we've had a lovely morning? Because you've done, you know, or I will point out and say, you know, when I'm yelling, it's usually because it's the 15th time I've asked you to do it. 1 through 14 weren't so bad. 15 is bad. And so I'll say the next time when she does something, when I ask immediately, I said, look at that. Look how nicely that exchange happen.
Yep. Riley, you can make this a lot easier or a lot harder. You're still going to end up having to do the same exact thing.
Exactly.
I think as parents, having those clear expectations, maybe a routine of, okay, let's start our day with finishing the chores we need to do, and also the consequences. Because if you don't follow through, then they test you. Okay, maybe I don't need to do this, you know? And I think the other thing I find, having a son and a daughter, one piece of advice I would have is equally train and teach them all the different household responsibilities. I try to do that more consciously with my son, because my husband was raised by a single mom, and he had to learn to do a lot of the household responsibilities. But with both of us working, that has been really helpful for me, that he can do a lot of the household chores. So I make the conscious decision with my son. I want him to be someday a good husband, good dad. So I think it's really important that we equally, you know, train them and teach them.
When I was growing up, Saturday mornings, if we got up early enough, we could watch the Smurfs, and then we could watch the Snorks, which was the underwater, like, it was like remember that? The Snorks, but then it was 3 hours of chores. It was 9 to 12. I had a list, and there was never a, I'm not going to do this, or like battle, or my leg hurts. It was just, okay, I've got to vacuum the whole house, and I've got to clean these bathrooms. And they kind of rotated, but that was every Saturday morning that I did that. And I know sometimes, as when you're busy, like you were talking about, Sarita, sometimes it's just easier to do it yourself. Right?
So easy.
I mean, I have the boys put away dishes, and every once in a while something's in there. They have no idea where it goes, so it just kind of gets left out, or they load it up, and I'm like, I open it up, I'm like, oh, that's not how I would have done it. I'm not that particular about it, but it's still difficult sometimes when you know that if you just did it, it would just get done the way you want it, and it'd get done quicker. But that doesn't serve them well as they grow up.
No, and I think going back to Sarita's point about the life skills, you know, having 2 kids that are out of the house. When they went away to college, that was really important that they knew things like how to do laundry, you know, how to vacuum correctly, or how to load a dishwasher. When my son went to college, we went to IKEA to get stuff before, and I picked up a toilet bowl cleaner brush, and he goes, "What is that?" And I go, "This is a very important tool, my friend, and I need you to use it. Promise me just once a month. Like, just videotape somebody doing it, so I just know that there has been a brush in a toilet somewhere in that house, because you're living with 5 guys."
Oh yeah.
And you know, but then I thought, oh my gosh, have my kids never had to clean a bathroom? So the poor 3rd child in my house, he's doing probably more chores than the other 2, because I'm like, you got to learn this. I've already learned these 2 didn't know it, and they need to know it. So there's a life skill thing of letting them, even if it's not done the way you want to do it, they got to figure that out.
The baseline. I do remember in college going to my boyfriend's house, and he lived with four guys, and I went in the bathroom. I was like, really? Oh, so that's a very good life skill.
It's a very good life skill
to learn.
And get the little, you know, the bleach tabs you can just put in, so you know at least when it's being flushed, which you hope that's happening, that it's being cleaned.
Well, and I saw it was a meme. It said, if your child knows how to work a tablet and an iPhone, they can help wash down the kitchen sink. They can help, you know, do these tasks, right? And I think there's so many people, again, you just get into this flow of doing everything. And you want them to grow up and make sure that they are doing appropriate things, but also, like you said, that they can take care of a household themselves, whether they're a woman or a man.
You know?
That's true.
And you know, with my teenagers, as busy as they are, I always say to them, if you have time to be on your cell phone, Instagram, Snapchat, you equally have the time to do some of the chores. So I think no matter how busy they are, it needs to be part of their daily life.
So now, what do you guys do with allowance? Like, growing up, we never had allowance. We were part of the family. However, you know, once we got to the age, 5th, 6th grade, going to the movies, I couldn't have a job quite yet. So then they would give me a little something to do that. Now I feel like there's a little bit of the expectation, you know, $1 for every number age you are. What have you guys done that's worked?
I think it's a balance. You have to be careful. You don't want to get to the point where every time they do something around the house, there's that expectation. To your point, you know, being part of a family, you do things for each other. So in our household, for the kind of things we would pay them would be like, let's say we're paying someone to cut our lawn,
Yep.
and they want to
Yep.
do instead,
Yep.
but not for every time they empty dishwasher. So you have to be
Right.
very careful
Right.
to not set a good, a
I
precedent.
really,
Absolutely.
I agree. My ex-husband and I actually do things very differently. At my house, my kids do not get an allowance, but I regularly pay for them. If we go out and we get sandwiches, we go to the movies, right?
That's what
then
we
I
do.
pay for those things. For him, my kids have actually worked at his practice for probably about 2 years every Saturday. And so they have 5 or 6 hours of work every Saturday that they get their own money. And then many of the things that they do, they pay out of that money, even if they're with me. And they have expressed that they like the thought that I've provided for myself, even at a young age, right? They're 14 and 15. They've been doing this for a couple of years.
Yep.
But he also gives them allowance, and they do a little bit more of what I might have a housekeeper come in once a month to do. So they do really a full cleaning, probably what I did from 9 to 12 on a Saturday morning. But I think it depends on what works for you, but I do agree that every single thing they do shouldn't be rewarded with money, because that's not realistic.
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Right.
That's true. And when my kids were little, like the age of your kids, we started, like I had them participate in what their chores would be. So it started very small with, picking up. I think Barney was very popular, the big purple dinosaur.
Okay.
When my kids were little.
Clean up,
Yeah, clean up. So they would sing. We would sing a song, and then they would clean up the toys. And so then it got to, you're responsible for cleaning up the toy room kind of thing. So I think that as they got older, we would add a little bit more to that.
Right.
And I love the pay thing, because you can't pay them for sweeping the kitchen floor every time.
Yeah.
But if you're going to pay someone to mow the lawn or to do a deeper clean of your house, then that's a great thing to give them some money. And then they learn to be a little bit responsible with the money they're making.
Then they're like,
too.
what can I do? You
Right.
know?
Oh,
my
yes.
boyfriend's son, he was like, Kathy, the weeds are coming back. Can I do that next time I'm here? Yeah, of course. Right?
I need some extra money.
Yeah,
I'll do
right.
that for
I don't want
sure.
to throw my back out, getting weeds out of my mulch.
Yeah.
True.
You know what I was thinking about? We're talking about age-appropriate responsibilities. I don't think my daughter knows how to tie her shoes because they're all Velcro. She's not in a sport. She can do so many other things. Am I a terrible mom? I don't think she's ever learned how to do that.
No, I just think times are different.
Yeah.
And eventually, I promise, she will be able to tie
Okay.
her shoes.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
One of the goals of parenting is to raise self-sufficient adults that can take care of themselves. To do this, transferring chores and responsibilities and shoe tying as soon as they can manage seems like the best plan. Thanks for joining us on the Naperville Moms Network. And remember, you're always invited. Thank you.